So you've got this new expensive DSLR or a mirrorless camera and you're already thinking that you can shoot in any kind of situation. You may also be thinking, do I really need a light when my camera can shoot at 25,000 ISO? The simple answer to that would be a resounding yes. So when Aputure contacted me about sending one of their lights over, I said yes, and I wanted to test this out for a review as well as for my own production purposes to see how far I can push the results with the Amaran 672C. Now 2 days after I got this light, we were about to fly to the Auto Expo 2018, which is India's biggest automotive show, and we shot both photos and videos with it, and as you can see, the results were awesome. If you want to see all the shots, you can head over to my Instagram account, and now let's get started with the review. I'll keep the review divided over 5 segments, and we'll show you what's inside the box, talk about the features and specs, and I'll take you through how we used it for our own event photography and videography, followed by the discussion on the downsides and the conclusion. If you're interested in this light after watching this review, I've left some affiliate links in the video description, so if you buy using those links, it really helps our channel. Now let's get started with what's inside the box. The first thing about this light was how thoughtfully it was packaged. Everything you need to run this light comes included in the box, which means the remote has its own batteries, the light has its own batteries, the AC adapter is included. Take it out, and if you already have a light stand, just put it on there and you're ready to go. So it was very nice of Aputure to give us fully charged batteries so I could take it out of the box and start shooting immediately. I also like this adapter since it can be tilted and adjusted, and it also goes into the light stand. This remote can control 3 groups of light and potentially unlimited number of lights, but in 3 groups, remember that. AC power adapter with the US plug is also included. They had some stickers as well. I don't have it in the frame right now, but the manual and the warranty card are all included apart from the light, the 672C. There are 672 LED lights in this unit, that is apparent from the naming, and half of those lights are functioning at 3200 Kelvin and half of those lights are functioning at 5500 Kelvin. Being an adjustable unit, you can achieve about any temperature between 3200K and 5500K, which I personally found to be very useful while shooting the event, where each booth had a different lighting setup and we could easily match the color temperature to that of the booth. The brightness is also adjustable, and we have modes from 10 all the way up to 99. At first when I turned this light on, I thought 99 was too much, but while lighting up the subject from 2 meters away or 2.5 meters away and using the light for photos, I found that the full brightness was indeed very helpful. On the back of the light, you have these minimum and maximum adjuster switches, the color temperature switch, and you have 2 buttons for selecting the channel and group, which lets you use it with the remote after being paired. You also have the power switch and the socket for the DC 15 volt adapter. Now I personally hate flashes. Also, some of the other cheaper LED light solutions cast a lower quality of light, which can create unnatural skin tones and a green tint over the footage. Aputure claims the 672C has a CRI rating of 95. Now at first I didn't know what it was. I did some studies on the internet and I found out that the thing that I hate about cheaper lights is because of a lower CRI rating, which means they don't render colors that well because they're not emitting a full spectrum of light. Now Aputure's 95 CRI claim is something that I cannot verify, but I can tell you that I shot a lot of portraits with it, and every time I was super impressed with the skin tones that I got, and it was all very natural looking. Now high-end production lights that claim a CRI rating of 95 or more are immensely more expensive, but the Aputure light provides the same quality of light under the $300 price tag, which I think they've done a great job for indie filmmakers, budget videographers, and people who are covering event who may not have such a big budget for affording those kind of lights and might find the usual tungsten oriented lights too heavy or too much power consuming. This light beam has a wide spread of 75 degrees, which works for my type of shooting, but if you want something narrower, they do have a 672S spotlight version with 25 degrees of spread, but it is not a color changing unit. You do get 2 diffusers with with a different color option if you buy the 672S. The light is incredibly lightweight at just 680 grams and it's only 2 inches thick, so I packed it inside my bag's laptop compartment as I didn't want to put it into the check-in luggage at the airline. I also would like to say that for the event videography, we didn't have any light stand. A guy was carrying it along with the 2 NPC batteries, which I find are twice as heavy as the light. But even if you add all of that up, it's still a very light unit. So if you have an extra guy to hold the light, you don't need a stand. You can just put it on for the short period of videos and you can move with the camera. Some of you must be thinking that a light was completely pointless, but you see, when you're shooting at an event like the Auto Expo, the lights are always focused on the motorcycles or cars. As a presenter, my face was always darker, and that is where the light came in most handy. Also, some of the smaller booths had insufficient lighting, like this scooter shot. They had very little lighting, and because of our lights, it all looks very evened out. For booths which already had sufficient lighting, we would use the light at a lower setting like 20 or 30, and for booths which didn't have enough lighting, we'd push it all the way up. But in our camera, everything was looking smoothed out and almost the same, and it gave our production a consistent feel. And I also shot a lot of models' portraits, and I was using a high zoom to get the bokeh in my portrait shots. With the light, I could shoot at a constant 800 ISO with a high shutter speed, making the handheld shots at 400 mm possible. I would also like to point out that the Rembrandt lighting on this shot is done entirely using the Amaran 672C light, and you can see the skin tones are very natural. All of these shots are unedited JPEGs straight out of the camera, so the quality can be pushed way beyond with a little bit of editing and if I decide to use my raw images. My camera only has a 1-inch sensor and that's not very good for indoor and low light, but this light made all the difference and we could get very professional looking results with a very minimum footprint. Downsides, well, the 672C is good for a fill light in daylight situations, also for event situations like the Auto Expo. But when you're using it inside a studio to light your own 3-point setup, you might find that for photography, 672C isn't bright enough, especially if you're using it in conjunction with softboxes or other sorts of diffusion. But it can be used as a fill light with a C120D or the Aputure's latest Lightstorm. The build quality could have been more robust, but that would increase the weight. I think Aputure should have given a hard case, or if you're intending to use it in airlines as in a check-in baggage, you should probably invest in a hard case. When filming with this light, if you place it very close to the model's eyes, they were sometimes complaining about it being too harsh and the diffusion provided is not enough. You would need to invest in a softbox separately if you want to light close to your subject and keep that light there for a long time, for example, for an interview sequence. The moment you're using the diffusion, it will severely affect the brightness, so that can be another downside. But it depends on the situation. For my kind of work, I think that much brightness is sufficient. I can just use a higher ISO setting to get the final result that I need. I think the Amaran 672C offers a good balance between price, weight of the light, and quality of the light. I'm definitely taking it with me for all my outstation shoots, and I think I want more lights from Aputure to complete my own home or indoor studio lighting setup. I usually don't do this type of gear videos, but this time I'm making an exception for an amazing product. And if you're an enthusiast photographer, you're looking for something even smaller, Aputure makes a variety of lights, including the on-camera M9 light and other options, which can sometimes give you that little extra bit of lighting, and sometimes that's all you need to push your photography to the next level. If you're a videographer, you should definitely take a look at this light. I'm sure that if you're shooting weddings or events, this is the perfect sort of light that you just need. Even if you have a very small crew, because of the lightweight, it's easy to carry and it has a very small footprint, like I said before. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, maybe share it with your cinematographer friends. Like always, thanks for watching and I'll see you very, very soon. This is Rahul. Goodbye.